Everyone. It's really a pleasure to speak at this event from halfway on the world here in Los Angeles, California. I'm the founder and CEO of a trip planning tool for admins and assistants called Travo. Speaking to this group is particularly special to me because the whole reason why I started my company is because of the experience I had in my previous gig as an executive of a mid-sized advertising technology startup, working with my assistant. During the years where I witnessed this company literally go from 15 employees to over 300 employees, I saw how much work it took for assistants to put together Travo for myself and dozens of people we had in ad sales. I didn't realize the difficulty and challenges when putting together a trip for someone else. And I thought that there was a big opportunity. So I quit my job to start a company that develops trip planning technologies specifically for assistants. I pay myself a healthy salary of zero, and then I found out my wife was pregnant. So, but that's another story. Anyway, I hated the fact that not very many companies were developing technology for assistants. Despite the fact that it is one of the largest employment groups in the entire world. Of course, there are companies out there who are trying to build artificial intelligence to replace this group. And we'll get into that a bit later and why it's not going to work. But I see so much potential with this group when we can empower assistants with technology designed specifically for you. So in many ways, I owe the idea and the product of my company to all of you guys. Anyways, I'm not here to talk about Travo today or how amazing our technology is. And by the way, it is. You should really check it out. But we'll save that for another session. Instead, I'd like to speak to you about how our technology or how technology in general will change the way a new generation of executives will work with their personal assistants in the near future. Like most cliche presentations, I want to start off with a famous quote from a very famous group of people looking to become the next leaders at companies both large and small. Every great millennial is known for saying, "I want more, I want it free, and I want it now." Now, when you read this, what type of person comes to your mind? Is it a person who demands a lot? A person who is not afraid to voice dissatisfaction? Well, I don't know about you, but it reminds me of this little guy. A whiny, crying baby who wants the impossible. I mean, we're really in trouble, aren't we, if these babies are the future leaders, right? But fear not, as with any baby, millennials actually grow up to be pretty effective leaders. But I'd like to take a moment to look at why and how to effectively communicate and manage relationships with this generation in the context of travel. So let's just rewind and revisit this quote. As seemingly whiny this quote is, to be fair to us millennials, it's really a product of influences of technologies we've had throughout our entire lives. Think about how we used to consume media versus how we consume media today. Before, you would need to tune to your TV or at a certain time to watch one of just hundreds of different TV shows. Even as a kid, I loved the X-Files. You literally needed to cancel your plans to watch a TV show. But it was worth it, right? We all love the X-Files. Today, there are millions of pieces of content being created, and you can watch content at any time, anywhere, for free. In fact, on YouTube alone, there are over 300 hours of new content being uploaded every minute, and 5 billion videos being watched every single day. You add in services like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, which delivers content in a very similar way, and you can imagine how he got so spoiled. When it comes to software, what happened? People used to actually pay for software. Microsoft is a company where I worked. It's my first job actually out of college. And back then, you used to pay for software. And Microsoft was big in selling operating systems and office software. Now you have Google just giving away free stuff that Microsoft definitely would have charged if they were the only guys on the cloud, which is easily accessible on any device at any time. If you remember, while everyone was offering these tiny email accounts with 25 megabytes of space, Google came out with Gmail and gave away a gigabyte of free email space. The crazy thing is nobody used that kind of space back then, but more and free right now, that's just millennial bait. Sign me up. But it's not just media and software. You can even get hardware delivered to your door in under an hour at a price that is probably cheaper than your local store, with Amazon Prime as an example. And I'm sure you guys have heard about Amazon drones that they're developing, which will deliver products to you so that drivers don't have to deliver products to you manually. Even travel options are changing. In places to stay, Airbnb is now considered the world's largest hotel chain in the world by number of nights booked. In ground transportation, Uber is the largest cab company in the world. And even the way you travel long distances may change in the next 5 years, as Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla, dreamt up Hyperloop, which can shuttle people 500 miles away in less than an hour in a vacuum tube. I know, sounds really safe, but people said the same thing about letting complete strangers rent out rooms in their own personal homes, and look what happened. Again, faster, more, and cheaper. This is what we're used to. So given this is what we experience and what we're experiencing today, it's not a surprise that this is the theme of I want more, I want it free, and I want it now is the millennial mantra. If anything, I think millennials are pushing expectations to the limit to make everyone's lives easier and better. But let's go back to the statement that translates into the world of travel for millennials. So I want more. So what does that mean in travel? I want more. That means they want more options, more choices. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind getting a recommendation on where to stay or which flight I should take. But if I'm curious about anything else, give me the freedom to choose. Don't just send me a few hotel, flight, car options, because the moment I find something on my own, I feel like the information I got from you is worthless. At the same time, I don't want to look through thousands of options on my own. So you have to make it easy for millennials to sort, filter, and instantly make it make sense for their entire trip. I want it free. Of course, travel is far from free. It's very expensive. But in this context, it means that they really care about saving money, even if it's not their own money. We view it as being efficient and smart rather than just saving $1 or $2. In terms of travel, I want to make sure we're getting the best rate possible for a comparable hotel in a similar location. Finally, I want it now means that time is very important. Getting things on demand is key and something that we're used to. And I'm much more willing to change my way that I do things, the products that I use, if it means saving time and getting the thing I want that much faster. In travel, we hear that the two biggest time sinks when planning travel for others is one, putting together a complete itinerary with flights, hotels, rentals, and meetings that work, and all the changes that happen to the start which causes us to start the entire process all over again. And two, getting approval for the trip, as the traveler will sit on an itinerary for a day or two, or may not even respond. And it's up to you to remind him or her that you should look at your email and approve the trip. Given this, I believe that there's a huge shift in terms of what this generation of leaders value in their personal assistants. Like I said before, my company is entrenched in the startup technology industry in California, where more venture investments are being done than anywhere in the world. I've also lived in Silicon Valley prior to moving to LA, and I can tell you the amount of investment into what they call disruptive technologies that look to change the status quo has been at a record-breaking rate this year. One particular area of investment that I feel may potentially impact the personal assistant profession is the investment into artificial intelligence. There are many companies who believe that artificial intelligence can replace personal assistants. And in the travel industry, you may have seen some companies that have developed chatbots where you ask for hotels in a given city, and a bot will send you a couple of hotel options and maybe even make the booking for you. However, at my company, our philosophy is a bit different. I believe that artificial intelligence can never truly replace human intelligence. Why? Because whatever you can do with technology alone can exponentially be multiplied if you can combine it with human intelligence. After all, our goal should not be to replace and build robots that are just as good as the humans who serve this role. To me, that's not progress. Progress to me is about empowering people to do more by providing them with technology. Metaphorically speaking, while others build robots, Travo builds Iron Man suits. Your job, however, is to incorporate cutting-edge technology and try as many suits as possible to find the ones that work for you. So if you want to adapt to the changes, the first thing to do is understand technology. The next generation of leaders will believe that the technology is the catalyst to do things faster and better, and those who do not use technology will waste a lot of time. And at that point, they just think they might just do it themselves, right? At the same time, because we value technology so much, I think there is an opportunity for assistants and admins to be the technology influencer in the office. Someone that introduces new technology, especially in travel. Believe me, your boss is way too busy. He's not online trying to look at better travel management platforms. And if you find something cool, I think it's a great opportunity to show that you have something to make his or her life better, easier, and save a ton of time in the process. The obvious ones are Uber, Airbnb, and a few others, but by now, everyone knows about those, and they won't really be impressed. So finding new and interesting things is important. Try it out and see if it fits. If you find something new, see if it fits and it saves time. And again, be the influencer in the office and add value with something he or she would not have known without you. The good news is that the fact you are here at this conference probably means you're ahead of the curve. And the important thing to realize about technology is that it's not about mastering it or knowing everything, right? It's just about being one step ahead of the curve, right? Being that influencer, being the person that, hey, if your boss says, hey, I heard about this thing called, I don't know, like Snapchat. I know all of you guys heard that by now. You say, yeah, absolutely. I use it every day. This is what happens, blah, 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 right? Like, these are the things that just get people thinking like, okay, my admin or my assistant, this is in her wheelhouse, right? Next, communicate like a millennial. We millennials also believe in being connected, and being able to clearly communicate is a way to save time and do more. It's apparent that millennials communicate a little bit differently. Just like they don't see anything wrong with saying, I want more, I want it free, and I want it now, millennials are not afraid to demand and address their needs head on. For us, it's a place to start and, frankly, a great negotiating tactic to get more and save time by not having a lengthy back and forth politically correct dialogue. The key here for the group is try not to get offended, right? Meet straightforwardness and kind. In terms of travel planning, sit down with your traveler and create a traveler profile with his or her preferences. Have a list of questions and make sure you ask them to every traveler to have a complete picture before you start planning. Again, we hate to go back and forth because that's just a waste of time and stretched over a couple of days. But I think everyone can appreciate doing it once, setting up time, and completely, because it means we don't have to do it again, right? Also, after the trip, do a debrief a few times to make sure that you get an idea of what he or she liked or didn't like. And be proactive. And lastly, if you can, do it in person. Emails are work. Phone calls are awkward, as stupid as that might sound. People prefer to message, right, rather than have phone chats. Messenger is better, but really an in-person conversation, we consider just like fun social chats, right? And it's a great way to read people and really get to know somebody, right? Next, proactively save money. As I mentioned before, saving $1 for a millennial is more than just about saving $1. To us, it means someone is resourceful, intelligent, and efficient. However, do the smart thing when you're saving money. Don't put your executive on a crappy airline to save a few bucks. Make sure he or she is comfortable. But if you can get the same quality for cheaper, that's just smart. In travel, there are many different ways to do this, such as doing price comparisons between multiple sources, multiple travel options, comparing, hey, how much would it cost between Uber, Lyft, rental car, taxis, public transit. I know, in Europe, a lot of people do take the public transit system. And sometimes even just paying a little bit extra for flexible fares because that if your traveler likes to change his or her plans at the last minute, hopefully you have enough experience with that. And all this experience just means that you're that much more valuable. Finally, having more options is our mentality. I want to share with you an email my assistant got from a major corporate travel agency to book a sales trip for New York City in my previous job. Now, I blocked out the name of the travel agency because the point of this isn't to talk negatively about any one particular agency, but it's to illustrate how things are currently being done and why it doesn't really match to this mentality of more, faster, free, right? So the email here, I don't know if you guys are able to see it, says, "Hi, Kristen. Here are some options for Tay Manoj. There are quite a few flights between all these destinations, so if we need to alter the times a bit, just let me know. I'm showing options in which they have the same flight from Boston to New York City. I'll come back to you with the hotel, but wanted to get this started. Now, these aren't very many options, and being a millennial that I am, what I did was I just went out to Kayak or one of these sites and instantly was able to find a better flight in several minutes for $100 cheaper, right? Notice I didn't really respond to this and say, hey, is there a cheaper one? It's just kind of like, well, look, I don't want to bother you. Like I've done this a million times. I'm just going to go online and do it myself, right? And I'll tell you and I'll tell you which flight that I want, right? Now, after this experience, we let the travel agency go because if this is, if I'm paying, I think like, $15, $20 an itinerary or something like that, and I heard up to $50 an itinerary, and I could just do it myself much, much easier, then it's just worth it, right? But some of you might think, well, isn't this giving a few options great for saving time? Yes, I think to a reasonable person, but may I remind you again about this picture. We're big babies and we don't want to sacrifice anything. The more piece is for saving time and saving money and getting more, right? It has to be all three. Listen, overall, I think the main thing that millennial executives see as a sign that someone can keep up is more about whether they love innovation and are always looking for new ways to do things better and faster. And you got to really think about the fact that your manager isn't spending his or her time entire day thinking about how to arrange trips and make meetings faster, more efficiently. This in itself gives you a significant legs up in terms of finding the stuff that will wow your executive. Don't be afraid of technology and think that they're out to replace assistants. Granted, some are, but they are much further from actually doing it than you might think. I mean, I know that there's a lot of startups out there that say, "Hey, that's our mission, and we could get robots to do this thing." But if you look at just like Microsoft, Apple, and Google spending tens of billions of dollars on natural language processing, and it's still far from perfect, you could kind of guess that, this is going to take some time, right? Instead, think of technology as an opportunity to learn highly valuable technical skills that warrant higher compensation. Trust me, your boss will happily do it, happily pay for it, and thank you for it. Now, I'd like to take just 1 or 2 minutes to shamelessly plug my company, Travo. A lot of stuff, because a lot of stuff that we talked about today about giving more options and doing things cheaper, and the way that, is the way that we think about our upcoming product. A few months ago, we released a demo version of what is possible when we combine human intelligence with technology, a product that instantly creates a complete itinerary based on when and where your traveler needs to be. And you're able to go and change it, and your boss change it, send it back to you. And the results were fantastic. We literally had thousands of companies and their admins use our product and give us very, very helpful feedback. Now, with this feedback, in the near future, we're releasing a revolutionary product that will allow assistants to build trips easily, communicate more effectively with their travelers, get approvals faster, make bookings cheaper and easier with the best possible discounts. And best of all, it will be completely free as long as you're a professional assistant. We will review every user to determine whether you qualify for this, because our rates unfortunately cannot be disclosed to the public. In terms of hotel rates, we get pre-negotiated corporate rates that you could save between 5 to 40% on a on the same exact hotel that you would find anywhere else. But I think all of you will hugely benefit and be able to show off a game-changing technology to the people you support. And by the way, if you're interested on getting on the wait list, send an email to waitlist@travel.com. Please include your name, title, and company, and one of our client success or customer success managers will get back to you. With that, I wish everyone all the best. Hope you guys have a great day today. I'm now going to hand it off to Nikki. Cheers, everyone. Bye.